This is Alan Brocken. Now that my kids are grown up, they say I'm the cool dad everybody talks about. But I can be honest, when they were younger, I was not always cool. There were a lot of days I just didn't even have a word to share with them. And so now that they're grown, I'm kind of giving back, and I've got a daily dad word for you to help you connect with your family. So let's get started with today's dad word, which is daughter. I'll be sharing my thoughts on daughters, including a joke or two. So let's get started. But the one thing, if you're traveling with your daughter on an airplane, you need to make sure of that you put on your oxygen mask before you help her. So, with that in mind, let's take a deep breath in through your mouth, out through your nose. And I want you to keep doing that. I want you to keep breathing. It's really important that you use that to help flush out stuff going on from the day. You get a good fresh breath in, you'll wake up and you'll be more alert and ready to engage with your family. This week we're closing out this verse on the relationship between God and his son Jesus. And so here's our verse of the week. No one has ever seen God but the one and only Son, who is himself God and is in closest relationship with the Father, has made him known. John 1:18. No one has ever seen God, but the one and only Son, who is himself God and is in closest relationship with the Father, has made him known. John 1:18. Are you still breathing? Take it slow. I don't want you to just continue to hang up stuff from your day. If you've got a problem at work or something, that's just a challenge, I want you to maybe write that down on a notepad or something, and we're just going to set that to the side. Keep breathing, kind of breathe in family, breathe out work, that kind of thing. And so today's great word that I found really interesting, because I had never heard this phrase before, is from Abraham Lincoln about the Declaration of Independence. He spoke this in 1861. I would rather be assassinated on the spot than surrender it. The other day I talked about Patrick Henry's Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death, which is in the same spirit from this as Abraham Lincoln. But both were concerned with ensuring the liberty of the people, so much so that they were willing to die for it. And quite frankly, Abraham Lincoln predicted his own untimely death with this quote. As I think about both of these men, underlying their words is a belief in principle above all else, of doing right when it's not popular and being willing to do so at great personal cost. I've only had a few times in my life when I really had to stand up this way. I can think of one scenario in particular when I was consulting with a customer. They'd been sold something that was just unnecessarily expensive. There was a cheaper, better way to do it, but to drive that agenda, giving them something cheaper, better, I would be drastically coming into my company's sales. Now, however, if I didn't present that, that would lack integrity. I talked in some stuff, earlier on about integrity being like the most important thing to my job. And so there was no way I couldn't show them this cheaper option. But I remember sweating that whole situation for days as the drama around the deal unfolded. But in the end, my integrity demanded that I provide, the right solution, right? And after multiple grown-up conversations with people at my company, we reached the conclusion that, basically was the cheaper option. And quite frankly, after kind of holding my ground, I gained respect from both the customer and the people, sales leadership I was working for. That being said, I had to stand on that principle of doing the right thing. So, what principle are you standing on? Where are you standing firm? Are you challenged and you could use some backup? We talked about that the other day. Well, why don't you come join us on the Daily Dad Word discussions group? Link in description. Happy to talk it out and help you make the right choice and stand on your principles. Are you still breathing? So speaking of kind of standing up and great, we got a great kid, Talia Lehman, who believes herself to just be some random kid. But her principle was she could make a difference, even though she's just some random kid. And so when she heard about back in the day about Hurricane Katrina, she wanted to find a way to, even though she was just some random kid, to help people, in the area. And so she began a charity drive for kids to trick or treat for New Orleans. They went around and found a way to use trick or treating to raise money. This drive raised over $10 million for the Hurricane Katrina Foundation. Her next project was she ended up founding this group called randomkid.org, which focuses on finding, kids with skills or a desire to help out, and then the people that need the help. You can learn more about Talia's story and the charity randomkid.org in the link in the descriptions. Do you know an inspiring kid with a great attitude, solving big problems, or helping others? Use the contact form at dailydadword.com to tell us about it, and we can feature your story and promote their cause. Are you still breathing? All right, I got a couple jokes today that I know for sure are going to help you breathe. I got a buddy of mine whose sister lives in Alaska. Yeah, she's got a little girl, and he likes to call her Bernice. No, that's horrible. Okay. My daughter and a husband got their first apartment in Chicago, and let me tell you, this thing was amazing. My office was bigger than their apartment. So we got a bed for them, and they looked at it and they just weren't sure. They just weren't sure they were going to keep it. And so I told them, "Why don't you sleep on it?" Come on now, that was pretty good. All right. Well, you know what? I'm sure you can come up with your own joke about daughters here. And, just make your own pun, funny story, maybe an anecdote about daughters, maybe a sister you've got in your own family, that kind of thing. Thanks for tuning in to Daily Dad Word. If you're looking for some more information for your family time, check us out at dailydadword.com/dailydadword. The link's in the bio. I have a number of resources there to plant a seed for a lifetime of relationships with your family, including a link to the Daily Dad Word Discussions Facebook group. If you found this focus time useful, click like and subscribe to be notified about the next day's show.